Hi, my name is Annika Heilweil. I work for Public Assets Institute, where I manage the Fair Share for Vermont campaign. Here in Vermont, we have skyrocketing income and wealth inequality. Currently, the top 1% of Vermonters have an average income that is over 20 times as large as the average income of the bottom 99%. Currently, the top 1% of Vermonters make over $586,000 per year. That's the threshold for the top 1%. When we're thinking about a Vermonter making over $500,000 a year, that's just over 1% of Vermont taxpayers. Fair Share for Vermont aims to increase taxes on the wealthiest Vermont residents in order to build a state that works for everyone who lives here. These taxes are specifically targeted on the highest income Vermonters who would be able to pay more in taxes and who are currently getting massive federal tax cuts. And basically what the federal government did last year as they passed the One Big Beautiful Bill, or HR 1, I will be referring to it as HR 1, this was basically a massive transfer of wealth from everybody to the folks at the top. So on average, due to the passage of HR 1, the top 1% of Vermont income earners are set to get an average annual federal tax cut of $57,000 per year, beginning in 2026. That's over 500 times as large as the average tax cut for someone in the bottom 20% of Vermont income earners, who are set to receive about $110 as an average annual federal tax cut. And for many Vermonters, $57,000 is equal to or over than a yearly salary. And that's just the federal tax cut that these folks are going to be getting. Here in Vermont, we have a tax system that is largely progressive. That means that as folks make more money, they are paying a larger portion of that money in state and local taxes than folks lower down. However, at the top of our income range, we actually have a system that is slightly regressive. So a family making around $500,000 a year is going to be paying a smaller portion of their income in Vermont taxes than a family making around $100,000 a year right now. And when we're thinking about the federal government's actions in this moment, we're seeing the federal government move toward a system where they are taking from everybody in order to give to the folks just at the very top. This year, the Fair Share for Vermont campaign is advocating for the state of Vermont to recapture a portion of the federal tax cuts that are being given to the wealthiest Vermont residents. So this year, we're specifically advocating for increased taxes on folks making over $500,000 a year. So as the federal government is basically slashing funding to certain programs, we're going to be seeing ripple effects through our entire state budget as our state legislature basically deals with how to handle that situation. We're going to see less funding across the board for things like basic government services. When we're thinking about public funding, this is really crucial for basically making sure that our state agencies are able to do the work that they are tasked with doing. This is thinking about transportation that is adequate. It's thinking about things like fixing our roads and bridges. One area where we're seeing a clear need for increased revenue is in transportation, particularly the transportation fund. At our current pace of paving, 48% of roads will be in very poor condition in Vermont by 2035. And this shows this clear need for revenue, right? It shows that we need to be putting money into these basic services and into jobs and into these agencies that are having massive impacts on day-to-day lives in Vermont. In this moment, Vermont has the opportunity to take a different path. We can choose a path where we are investing in our people, where we're not letting really crucial systems go into disrepair and kind of push costs further and further into the future. It makes a huge impact for elected officials to hear from their constituents. So if you are supportive of increasing taxes on the wealthiest Vermonters in order to build a Vermont that works for everyone who lives here, please contact your legislators as well as the governor in order to let them know that you support actions like this.